just it's easier to relate to other women when they go through what you go through or maybe something similar. So I appreciate you saying you don't have to acknowledge that. And it's not you're hiding your children because I did see that a lot too, on TikTok. People were saying like, well, I don't mention, I think Shira said, I don't mention having kids. And it's not that it's a lie. If they ask you if you have kids, then I guess if you're comfortable, you can share that, but you don't have to make that your personality because I do feel like a lot of men will look at you and say like, oh, she's a single mom. She has 2 kids. Let me offer her less. And, in my experience, just because I've had bad experiences, I won't let that tell me that I'm not worth what I feel that I deserve.
Mm, that's fair. That's fair. So it sounds like and you kind of have an idea, and you don't kind of lean into it when you go out. So that's good.
Yeah. And I guess if I'm allowed to, can I ask any encouragement that you have for young women who feel discouraged, because right now there's a lot of propaganda about, oh, you're a single mom and you have kids and this, that, and the other. How dare you have any standards? Once you feel that you've healed, why is it that you don't, the society, I should say, isn't accepting to a woman learning from her past and turning her back on bad decisions and wanting better for herself? Like what's your advice for those women that deal with those type of men? Because there's a lot of it, especially with the Kevin Samuels thing going on.
Yeah, this you can't make this shit up, people. You cannot make this shit up.
This man is passed away and he's still living rent free in y'all head. This shit is sad, bro. Let's get into this. What's going on, YouTube? Is your boy Rome back with another video. If you're new to the platform, welcome to the tribe. By the end of this video, hope you subscribe. So we had a single mother that popped up on this dating show, the Ashley Dalton dating show. I actually reacted to one of her videos just the other day. But I had to chime in on this one when I saw the title. Single mother is concerned about dating because of Kevin Samuels and RP content. Translation: I'm afraid that the type of man that I want is not going to accept me and my kids because what I'm looking for, 9 times out of 10, those men are not going to want what I'm coming with. That's what it sounds like to me. But we're going to go ahead and see what else she has to say, as well as hear Ashley Dalton's response. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into
Thank
it.
you, Oliver.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Welcome in. Hi, welcome in. Do you consent to be on a live and potentially off platform?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I have a 2-year-old and she's trying to get in, but I'm not really the biggest fan of that. Hi, Ashley. I'm a really big fan of yours. Um, Thank you for, welcoming me into your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
My only question, I know you said one question, and I know you also say a lot of time that don't look at the comments when you come up. Like let's focus on the dialogue, let's have a good conversation. Let's get into some things. So the thing that I want to get into, I'm from Las Vegas, born and raised. I am 28 years old. And really, my main question is, do you see anything on social media or in real life that other people, single mothers, I should say, because I'm a single mom myself. I was in a 8-year relationship with both of um, my children's dad. So they have the same dad. And I wanted to know if you had any advice for women who are single mothers and they're trying to step back into the dating world.
I know you are a single mom, but you don't always need to acknowledge that you are when you're going out to date. Men don't acknowledge it, so I don't think, women should. So I think you just need to get yourself together, work on who you are, and put yourself back out there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I like that advice. I think that personally, a lot of people that me personally, I'll just speak on me. When I first got back into the dating world or decided that I wasn't going to take any time, any more time, I should say, with my children's father, I realized I had to know my worth and my children, my history, my dating history, and the things that I did when I was younger and unexperienced doesn't define me. And not only did I want to ask for your advice, I wanted to encourage any other ladies who are also, single mothers. Like you said, you do not have to accept that as your identity. I don't make that my identity. It's
I have a bit of a mixed reaction about what was just said because I can't disagree with neither one of them saying that you shouldn't like wear the single mom. You feel me? Like make it your identity because you know how women are when it comes to the single motherhood shit. I understand that completely. I think women who are single mothers need to stop doing that because for one, it's a turnoff. It's already bad enough that most men, especially childless men, don't want to take on another man's child or children. But when you wear it like a badge of honor and like it's your whole personality, yeah, that's even a bigger turnoff. However, I do disagree with you don't need to acknowledge it and the men don't acknowledge it. Um if the men I wouldn't say the men don't acknowledge it, it's just that men want to know these things ahead of time so that way they don't know if they're wasting their time or not, whether they're wasting their money or not. Because I think one of the problems that a lot of women, especially single mothers, had with Kevin Samuels was that the type of men that a lot of single mothers want, men don't want those type of men don't want single mothers. They want childless women because the chances of that man being childless is probably going to be pretty high, especially if he has any kind of success or motion going for him. Because in order to do that, he had to not have anything holding him back. Like, not to like toot my own horn, but just to use myself for example, I wouldn't be in the position that I'm able to be in now if I did have children. So when my mom was like pushing me to be like, yeah, travel, do your thing, yada yada, you don't got children, ain't nothing holding you back. Of course, I'm gonna do what I want to do, but if I had children, I wouldn't have been able to put myself in a position to be where I'm at now. Is what I'm saying. So I think that's just something that single mothers need to be mindful of, and just the fact that if let's be real, I don't want to say it's a lot of them, but if I had to take like a educated guess, maybe about half of the women that are single mothers, they want men that don't have children because they want access to as much as that man's resources as possible. Because reality is, a lot of these single mothers need help financially when it comes to these children. But let's keep it moving.
just, it's easier to relate to other women when they go through what you go through or maybe something similar. So I appreciate you saying you don't have to acknowledge that. And it's not you're hiding your children, because I did see that a lot too, on TikTok. People were saying, like, well, I don't mention, I think Shira said, I don't mention having kids. And it's not that it's a lie. If they ask you if you have kids, then I guess if you're comfortable, you can share that, but you don't have to make that your personality, because I do feel like a lot of men will look at you and say, like, oh, she's a single mom, she has two kids, let me offer her less. And my in my experience, just because I've had bad experiences, I won't let that tell me that I'm not worth what I feel that I deserve.
Okay, so I see we got a Shira 7 reference again, so that lets me know that Ashley, Dalton, and Shira 7 pretty much have the same audience because it seems like every woman that comes on her platform is looking for high earners. It seems like every single dating show these women run, these women are looking for the six figures. I tell you, bro, this six figure shit is gonna keep a lot of women single. And you want to know what's funny? I just saw a video from Medium Man who kind of debunked this shit. Did you know that The median income for men that pay all the bills is 70K. 70K, bro. What does that tell you? It's not about a man paying for everything. It's about these women trying to get a certain lifestyle. And you think that a man that busts his ass to get in a position to make that type of money is going to want to take on extra liabilities. And I know that sounds harsh, but if you're expecting him to provide for children that are not his, he's going to look at it as a liability. Point blank, period. This is why I push women who have kids to look for other men that have kids, because for one, he's going to be able to relate more. And in my opinion, more than likely, he's going to be more of an asset as far as being some kind of a father figure to your kids, as opposed to trying to get that from a man who's childless and more than likely wants to start his own family. And I don't like that. I'm telling you, bro, Shira 7 gonna keep a lot of y'all women single with this advice. I don't like the fact that you gonna sit over here. Oh, I don't mention children. Y'all want to know why she's telling them that? So that way, when they're dating a man, and if he doesn't find out after he's only been so invested and only spent so much money, then he's not gonna want to walk away from the situation. That's why they telling women to do that shit. See, I'm not dumb. I know why they doing that shit.
Mm, that's fair. That's fair. So it sounds like and you kind of have an idea, and you don't kind of lean into it when you go out. So that's good.
Yeah. And I guess if I'm allowed to, can I ask any encouragement that you have for young women who feel discouraged, because right now there's a lot of propaganda about, oh, you're a single mom and you have kids and this, that, and the other. How dare you have any standards? Once you feel that you've healed, why is it that you don't, the society, I should say, isn't accepting to a woman learning from her past and turning her back on bad decisions and wanting better for herself? Like, what's your advice for those women that deal with those type of men? Because there's a lot of it, especially with the Kevin Samuels thing going on.
Yeah, but if you consume that content on a daily, then that will become your reality. I'm not saying a lot of the stuff that some men will say isn't true. I'm not going to say that. But if you consume it, then you're going to live in a bubble. You're going to stay home. You're going to believe I'm never going to find someone. No one's ever going to love me. I'm never going to find anyone. You're just going to lock yourself away.
I agree.
Mhm.
But women like you and Shira 7 think that telling millions of women to try to look for these high earning men where it's never going to be enough for them to go around for all these women. You don't think that's going to isolate them? You don't think that's putting them in a bubble? I'm like, funny how that logic only applies to um, to Kevin Samuels and Manosphere and RP content.
I agree. I personally, I stopped subscribing to, and it wasn't, the For You page will kind of like throw little things out at you and see if you'll listen to it. So I'll listen to see what they're talking about, and then when I get the idea that it's like a mom bashing or whatever it is, something that's not productive to your confidence or your self-esteem, I will get off of that. Like, I'll hit not interested
My,
quickly. Like, I'm not gonna
my
listen to
question.
that.
Did you hear that? If it isn't positive to my self esteem, which is translation, if it doesn't pander to me and they're not telling me what I want to hear, I'm not listening.
Right. My question too always is to the ladies and to the guys. What is your life like in real life? So when you're not on social media, are men approaching you? That's my question to you. Is the reality of your situation different from what they're saying online? That's how I like everyone to look at it. Forget what people say to you, call you this. They could say anything about you. But when you leave your house, what is the reality?
To answer your question, yes, men do, approach me. And I think when they hear my standards for myself, it's, I don't have a ridiculous expectation for people that's unrealistic for even myself. I give grace to everyone because I'm a human too. We all have, we're all humans. However, yes, they do. But I do think that once they learn that, oh, especially this is more common with men without kids. And me personally, I'm not a fan of dating men without kids, just because I just don't think that, number one, I don't want to have any more kids. Okay, so I know that about myself, and I don't want to set a false expectation or leave room for someone to get into something that they think that they're going to get something that they're not. But yes, my reality is different from online. And so that's why I also said I wanted to encourage a lot of other single women, because we're in this chat and we're listening and we're having these conversations, and sometimes it looks different for us. So I just wanted to hear from your perspective, from your perspective, what you advise. So I really appreciate that.
So in reality, doesn't match what you're hearing online. You don't want to deal with men that are childless, but you follow Shira 7. This is exactly why you didn't like Kevin Samuels. How many times did Kevin Samuels have single moms come on his platform saying that they already had children, no, didn't want any more children, but they were looking for a man that made a certain amount of money so that way he can provide for their children? That's the problem right there. So, ma'am, you're gonna have a hard time finding what you're looking for, and then if you are being approached, then and if you coming on this platform and speaking like this, you must not be getting approached by the men that you want. And you said when they hear your standards, it sounds like they run.
Run! Go! Get to the chopper!
Yes, you're welcome. And again, like you said, your real life is not what they're saying about or talking about online. So just lean into that, you know?
Thank you. I appreciate that. And anyone else that's in the comments that can relate, or maybe not, just have an open mind. I thank you, Ashley, for having an open mind and having an open platform for ladies. Like they're saying, oh, she needs to vent. We all do sometimes, but this really isn't about venting. It's just I wanted to hear from another woman that's wise, about a different array of topics. So this is just one of them. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, Ashley, for
You're welcome,
letting me on.
beautiful.
Have a great night.
Good night. Bye-bye. Not saying that things on the internet aren't necessarily true, but a good way to gauge that, prove people wrong, is just to live your life. What is your real life like? How is it like when you go out into the real world? It's like she was talking about a man, so I'm going to talk about men because she was talking specifically about dating. So as a mom, because she said she was a mom, when you go out, this goes for anyone watching or any of the ladies here, when you go out and you walk into the store, the department store, the luxury store, you go for dinner, whatever it is, wherever it is you're going, what is your experience? Are people approaching you? Do people want to get to know you? Are people asking for dates? Are people stopping in the middle of traffic, jumping out cars to come and try to talk to you? What is the experience like? That's it. Forget what the internet is saying. Forget what you commenting under people post. Oh no, this ain't true. This ain't true. This is true. What is your real life like?
I can't speak for them, but what I will say is from what I see on these dating shows, there are far too many single mothers coming on shows like hers and Kendra G's, and God knows who else got a dating show, to try to sit over here and say that what men are saying on the internet is not true or doesn't have some form of truth to it. And if it wasn't true, Kevin Samuels he wouldn't have got so popular and so rich off of it now, would he? If what he was saying didn't have any truth to it, right? Anyway, let me know what you thought about this. If you're new to the platform, please subscribe. OGs, I appreciate the love and support. Make sure y'all hit that bell notification. That way y'all know what I'm uploading. Hit the like button because that's with the algorithm and helps you reach a broader audience. Also, look out for the travel vlog channel as well as the live show channel. Both links are in the description. Until the next video, y'all. Deuces.